wisdom,
prudentia,
justice,
justitia,
temperance,
temperantia,
courage.
fortitudo.
Applying ancient philosophy to modern life, this is the Sunday Stoic.
A Stoic podcast. This is Steve coming to you from Conway, Arkansas. And in the background, you may hear my son Charlie playing. He's playing with Godzilla and a ship from the War of the Worlds movie from the 1950s. Charlie, you want to say hi?
Hi.
And I'm also joined today by my wife, Chrissy.
Hello.
Hello. So, we are celebrating our 10th wedding anniversary the weekend of the airing of this episode. So I thought it would be interesting to deviate from a typical episode, and we may have some Stoic lessons tied into this episode, but overall, we want to talk about things we have learned, advice we have to give from our 10 years of marriage. I mean, I would bet our marriage at this point has lasted, roughly 10 times longer than the average Hollywood marriage. So I feel like we're approaching expert level here. So now Charles, as you know from the previous episode, he started kindergarten. Our life has gotten. I thought maybe things would be easier once things started kindergarten, but it just changes. It doesn't get easier; it changes. So your schedule shifts. And you have to be at different places at different times. And of course, if he gets involved in extracurricular activities, it'll get even more chaotic. So all of this, marriage and then children and all of that, it's a changing landscape, much like the environment changing over geologic time. You have to be resourceful enough and diverse enough in your abilities to adapt and evolve, much like biological evolution. But what we did is we made a list of roughly 10 lessons we've learned, and we did this independently, and then we thought we'd sit down and share our 10 lessons of marriage. So who should go first?
You go first.
I go first? Okay. The Steve Karafit Top 10 Countdown, starting with number 1 on the top 10 list. Number 1, keep your core hobbies. I use the word hobbies here, but your core self, your passions, but not in the bad Stoic sense. But yeah, your interests, but let the superfluous go. I didn't do this so good. I still suck at it. So I have a house full of crap. And I'm always like, oh, new hobby. Oh, I spent $700 on new hobby. Oh, another hobby.
And why is our house so full of crap?
Why is our house? And at the same time, I'll complain our house is full of crap. So I'm not great at this. But remember who you are as a person. Don't let that go. But if you are really into guitar, let's say, and you kind of are into surfing, but you haven't done it in 15 years and you still have all this equipment, maybe let that go. Let that go. That's something you're not going to have time for anymore. Something to think about. Number 2. By the way, these are in no particular order. Number 2. Have your own interests, but make sure to do plenty together. I know a lot of married couples often will drift apart because the wife has her friends and her interests, the husband has his friends and his interests, and they don't have much overlap, and that can be a problem. It's important to do things for your own sanity, of course, but do plenty together. Number 3, discuss your role and do your part, and maybe a little more. This is something that I found I'm not great at, because let me explain. I have in my head my ideals, like, well, a husband should do these same kind of things that the wife does, etc. But then what happens after a couple years of marriage? You take a look and you're like, oh, my wife's doing the quote unquote traditional woman stuff, and I'm doing the quote unquote traditional man stuff, and I'm not helping as much as I should because I'll mow the grass a couple times, let's say 3-4 times a month, but she's doing laundry every week, let's say, and so.
He is really good at cleaning the bathroom, though, and I appreciate that very much.
I've improved. I always. Well, that's my last one, so I won't say that. But number 10 is going to be always improve. Find those weak spots and work on them. You may not be the dream catch immediately, but you can make sure that by the time you're dead, you were a dream catch. Like, man, he was awesome when he died. He was doing all the things a guy should do. Number 4. Once you have children, it's a whole new ball game. Right, Charlie? Say yeah, Daddy. There you go. His Arnold Schwarzenegger impression. I recommend, if you can, now I know this is a pipe dream for a lot of folks, recommend waiting to have children until you have a solid marriage foundation down. But on the same, what I want to say, on the same bit of advice before I even
end. On the other side of the coin.
Yeah. Remember, no time is perfect. And for a lot of people, the kid's on the way before the marriage, so that's not even an option. But if it is an option, it's good to make sure you know each other and how to survive each other before you add a screaming larval human into the situation. Number 5. If you mess up, admit it and talk it out. That's not easy sometimes, because that anger that we're warned about from the Stoics can keep you from wanting to be logical and engaging. You're like, nope. And it might be 3,
I'm
4.
right. Why can't you see that I'm right?
Why can't you see that I'm right? It might take you a couple hours to get into the right headspace, but talk it out. And as some advice that was given to me when I got married, don't go to bed mad. Work it out before you go to bed, if you can. Number 6. Not that I'm great at this, but turn off the TV and do stuff together in the evening. We did it, what was a whole month where we had no TV, and it was fine. It was nice. Now we haven't done it again, but we could.
We do it here and there. Like last night, we sat at the table and we talked and we were listening to podcasts and we were making jalapeno poppers, and that was fun.
Yeah, we listened to podcasts. What were we listening to? Atlas Obscura?
Yes.
Yeah, that was nice. A good podcast. That's fun. So yeah, we may have something going on but something that we can talk about while we're engaged in it. Something that makes us a little smarter, if possible, and something we go, oh, that's interesting, and we can chat about and then pause and talk and things like that.
Or something that you can eat afterwards, like jalapeno poppers.
Like jalapeno poppers, absolutely. All right, number 7, learn how to listen. I'm also trying to be better at this because I found out, as a guy, I was raised like, you got to change the oil, you turn this, you fix that, you do this, you do that. But sometimes when your wife is telling you about the crap that went down that's bugging her, she doesn't need you to say, well, here's how you fix it, sweetheart. She doesn't want that. She wants to be heard. So shut up and nod your head and then give her a hug.
It helps to just have somebody hear us, I think, just allow for the decompression to happen. Just let it all come out on the table, and then somehow it's easier to cope with once it's been spoken. And, we appreciate, sometimes we're looking for a fix, but sometimes we just need to get it out so that it's not rattling around in our head anymore. And we're working on that.
That's right.
It's getting better all the time.
Budget your time, budget your roles, budget your spending. So what I tried to mean by that is remember to have some of your own free time, but not to over budget it. Like the classic, why were you out till 3 a.m. bowling, sweetheart? That sort of thing. Budget your roles. Sit down and actually talk about those roles. What is expected of you, and what do you expect of your spouse, and how can you reach an agreement? It's not like it's, necessarily you're going to sign a contract, a business agreement here, but expectations should be known rather than guessed, because you get yelled at when when your spouse expects something of you that you didn't realize they expect of you and you haven't been doing. You can't know those things unless you talk about them. And your spending. I know I've heard that money is like one of the biggest things, and I am the worst. I just ordered a guitar today. Anyway, and a saw. I ordered a new sliding miter saw too the other day. So I suck at this, but budget that spending. My wife is like, oh, I bought a pair of socks 6 years ago, and so I'm terrible about stuff. I grew up. Oh, we got a boat. Oh, my dad has an airplane. We had stuff that helped to facilitate the way we see ourselves, the things we like to do, and I still use stuff to help prop up my image of who I am and the fact that I like to do interesting things, and I can't do all those things without some of this stuff. But budget. Don't go, sorry that the bank account's out of money, sweetheart. I'll sell my kidneys to make rent this week. I apologize. That's going to lead to divorce pretty quickly.
Or death.
Or death. Number 9. Make time for good time. Don't forget why you are married. So, one thing that over COVID, we've had a really hard time with this because we don't have a lot of family close by. I have some cousins down the road, but they haven't really watched our son that much. And our nearest grandparents are about 3.5 hours away, and the other set's 12 hours away. Hard to just drop the kid off at grandma's and go do something. And it's been difficult over the pandemic. We haven't been out to eat, just Chrissy and I.
I guess maybe there was once since July.
Yeah. And we haven't been out with Charlie much either because of the pandemic. Mm-hmm. Right, Charlie? When's the last time we went all out to eat together at a restaurant? A whole week ago. That's a long time.
5-year-old's concept of time.
Yeah. So budget that time. And then don't forget why you are married. You can fixate on this problem you're having and this stressful thing. Remember, the Stoics tell us, as well as lots of other philosophies, things change, things will pass, things will evolve. And remember the core reason why you're together. And focus on that as much as you can and work together to get over the issues you're facing. And number 10, I already alluded to, always improve. You're not going to be great at all this right away. But you have to adapt, or accept a change mindset. I don't know. I'm not wording this quite right, but there are even in education, there are two ways you can go as a student. You can have a fixed mindset or accept that you can change. And students that have a fixed mindset say, I am dumb and I can't learn this, or I am smart. They have a fixed set of how they are. Whereas someone who can accept change, they say, I don't get this now, but I can get this. I will work on this. Or if they think, students who say, I am smart and end of statement, then they have a real hard time when they fail at something because it destroys their self-image. So saying, I am fallible but I can learn and I can work hard and I can learn and I can find people to help me. Having that kind of mindset can help a student. Having a similar mindset can help you, whether that be, hey, we need counseling because this marriage is more important than the issues we have, or whether it be I don't do enough work around here where my spouse does a whole lot more. I need to improve. Let's talk about it. And one way to do that I have found helpful, and we have done, but we haven't made a habit of it yet, and I got this from The Art of Manliness, is that's a weekly marriage meeting where you sit down and discuss the challenges that you're facing, discuss the good times you want to plan for, things like that. There's kind of a list he has on his website on what you could include in that marriage meeting, a set routine that you can discuss, like upcoming chores and hobbies, or not hobbies, but chores and planning for the good times and things of that nature that you can discuss logically, make notes, and then meet again and adjust your course. It's adjusting your course because remember, like Seneca alludes to, and George Harrison, if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. If you don't kind of know where you're headed in your ship, you're sailing out to sea, where are you going to steer to? And so you have to kind of talk it out and improve along the way. And so that's my list of 10. And now I will turn it over to my lovely librarian wife, Chrissy, who has her own list for you.
So I came up with this list on the spot probably about 10 minutes ago. Just sat down.
That's how much planning I put into this podcast.
Just tried to write down what came to mind. So my number 1 is, life is not a fairy tale. There are ups and downs. Be there for each other through those times. Number 2, let go of preconceptions and embrace what is. that we all go into situations, relationships, points of our life where we expect, well, my life's going to be like this. I'm going to, look beautiful all the time, or I'm going to always have a, home cooked meal made from scratch on the table every night. And you just recognize that there's some things that may not work out the way you thought they might in your dreams. Let go of some of those things and just be... Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Just embrace and be thankful for what you have, because there are good things about what is currently here, and just recognize
Obviously,
that.
my wife need to work, and I need to work on this. I put my arm on my wife's shoulder to kind of let her know she's doing a good job, and she thinks I'm like, oh, you're screwing up. Chrissy's not comfortable on the microphone, and I think she does a great job. You can email me, and I'll forward it to her. You can tell her how nice it is to hear from her.
Okay, number 3, find something to celebrate frequently. Maybe at least once a week, maybe every day, not just big holidays. So whether it's the solstice, whether it's going out to look at the full moon, whether it's having a happy hour when you get home from work, just look for those things to celebrate and celebrate those things along the way.
One thing we have found is that holidays often involve having to go somewhere to be with family far away, and you don't have a lot of time together to celebrate in your own little core family unit. So it's like, the hell with it. We're going to celebrate Saturnalia. and hey, the Pleiades meteor showers this weekend. We're going to do that, and we're going to, that sort of thing. We've enjoyed that.
Number 4, to everything there is a season, and all things pass. So there are going to be times in your life when you have to put some things on hold, such as when you have a baby. Just take time to focus on the moment. The other things will have their time.
Can you give them some examples that you've gone through?
I think a part of my sense of identity is being able to... I love baking, and I love gardening. And those were things that there was a period of a year, 2 years where I just did not get to do that hardly at all. I just did not have the time whenever Charlie was born. And that was a little bit hard. It was kind of trying to figure out, am I still the same person? Have I lost myself, my identity? And then I read more about other mothers and what they go through. And it's like, this is common that people... they just don't have time to do those things that used to be important to them, at least for a period of time. But, as the baby grows up, it's not going to last forever. One day that baby is going to be grown up, and they are not going to be held and rocked as much, and you're going to miss that. So, now Charlie's 5 years old, and I've got my garden going again, and I get to do baking again, and Charlie gets to help me. So... you may not...
Are you 5? Where did that happen? Why don't you come here? You want to finish your thought? I'm going to have Charlie say something in a second.
I'll just say that... I don't know what... I lost my train of thought.
I'm sorry. I'm a jerk.
No, it's okay.
But the child grows up. You get to do some of those things that you were missing out on.
Focus on the moment and enjoy what is precious about the moment. It won't last forever, and some of those things that you might wish you could do, there will be a time for that.
Hey, Charlie, why don't you tell everybody what you're doing right now? Playing Godzilla. That's awesome. You built houses, and now Godzilla's going to smash them? That's cool, buddy. And the alien ship too. All right. Where are we at, Chrissy?
Number 5. Give each other time and space to be on their own. Give each other time and space to calm down. It can just be hard to patch things up in the heat of the moment, or say the right thing when you're both absolutely certain that you're right and the other one's wrong. So give things time and space, and might be 10 minutes, might be an hour, you'll be able to find a way to come to some kind of consensus or have a meeting of the minds again. So, number 6. When you're mad at each other, remember what you have in common. it's good to remember, usually sometimes the being mad at each other is a miscommunication, or somebody's just not fully hearing you or focused on you because they're trying to accomplish something else at that moment, and you get frustrated because they, you know, don't understand you, or they're not giving you the attention you want. And so it's just, it's good to remember that you probably have common goals. You both want a certain thing out of life. You both care about each other. So just take time to remember what you have in common.
We have stuff in common?
Sometimes. Number 7, find peace and comfort in nature. I think especially when crazy stuff happens that is beyond your control and everything is very stressful, sometimes it helps me to go outside and look at the stars and realize that this is just a moment in time. And what seems like a crisis to me at this moment is just a tiny blip in the great cosmic scale of things. That, you know, next week things may look completely different, or, you know, it might be a couple years before things are different when you're talking about a pandemic. But it will not last forever, and horrible things have happened in the past, and it is past, and you know, life goes on. So it helps to kind of take the long view sometimes, I think.
Thank you, Charlie.
Number 8, make time for work and play. This is something I tend to, you know, have my list of things I want to accomplish, and then, you know, I'll have, sometimes that list will last me the whole weekend, and on Sunday night I'm just worn out, and I'm like, I never really sat down and took a minute to just relax, and I have to go to work Monday morning, and I'm just kind of frustrated and worn out. So it's important to make time to do something with your family, to do something that I guess gives you rest, to help replenish your spirit.
It might be something on your own that you just need to, I need an hour of me time.
Yes, a lot of times if I can get myself up in the morning, I like to go out to my garden before the sun is fully up and burning hot, and just have some time pulling weeds and picking tomatoes and planting seeds, and that really helps me feel like I am in the zone. It's that thing they talk about, flow, where you lose track of time, you lose track of what you're doing. Even you're just so into what you're doing, you don't notice that 2 hours have gone by. So it's good to find your flow. Make sure you make time for it on a regular basis. Number 9, look for ways to serve together, opportunities for service that you guys can do together. I think that leads to a happier and more meaningful life if you can find, whether it's things we've done together is we've helped out with the annual bird count in the wintertime.
For the Audubon Society.
Because we enjoy, you know, watching the birds, seeing what different species we can identify. We've
have we done anything else? I don't. This is something that we haven't done. All these things. These are things we think we should do. But we've
been trying to find opportunities to do that with the Unitarian Church.
With the Unitarian Church, yeah.
But of course, the
pandemic
made
hit.
It hard.
The pandemic hit like a week after we joined the Unitarian Church in Little Rock, because they do a lot of outreach and stuff, and then bam. That hasn't returned to normal yet. So we're trying to do that, but we haven't successfully implemented it totally yet.
I feel like maybe we
did some tornado disaster cleanup together after the tornado hit a town nearby.
Yeah, that was a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I guess we're at number 10, which is all things end. And today is precious. So just try to remember that, you know, there's going to be a time when you're going to wish that you could give that person a hug. You're going to wish that you could rock that baby that's all grown up. or read them one more story. And just remember that today is never going to come again. And that can help to get you through the times that seem stressful, to get you through the times that seem just kind of like drudgery, like, oh, do I have to do another load of laundry? Well, one day I won't have to do any more laundry for Charlie because he'll move out of the house, and then I might miss folding all that underwear. So just recognize time is precious. Yes, you
yes,
do.
Charlie.
Yes, we have to do
You're a
our own
smart boy.
laundry too.
And
And last one, my bonus one is don't make tuna casserole. That's all I have to say about that.
You're not going to elucidate? I didn't have a bonus one. I feel like a jerk. Oh, well, everyone, I hope you've enjoyed our list of marital advice 10 years in at this point. Chrissy, happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
I love you.
I love you too.
Oh, big. I don't know if hugs come through the speaker or the microphone so good. Oh. All right, everyone. Hope you enjoyed that. Write in. Tell Chrissy how good she was. I'll get her on the show more often if we can boost her confidence about being on the podcast. And don't forget to seize the day.
Carpe diem.
Thank you for listening to the Sunday Stoic. Become a member of the Sunday Stoic team. Earn rewards by becoming a patron at www.patreon.com/SundayStoic. Contact the show by emailing sundaystoic@gmail.com. And as Steve always says, carpe diem.